Welcome back, guys, to the next in the video series where we're going to take all of those milestones and general type of outcome based goals that you've put together and turn them into real measurable actions that you can take on a weekly basis to improve your life. So what we're going to do now in this particular video is we're going to talk about my DRM model for putting goals together. Now this is very similar to something that's called SMART goals, which many people will have heard of. I've simply modified that model to make it simpler and more effective, at least in my eyes. So I want you to go back to those general goals that you've put together, those milestones, and take the ones that are on the first level, the first steps that you need to take, the first outcomes that you need to achieve. Choose the one that is the top priority for you right now. Okay? So I'm going to use an example that I'll make up, and I just want you to use whatever one is most important to you from your exercise earlier. I want you to get a nice big piece of paper and I want you to write that general goal, that milestone along the top of it. Okay? So the general goal I'm going to use as an example is to get healthier. Okay, I'll use a gym related goal. Alrighty, so what we're going to do now is we're going to run that general goal through 3 filters, and in each of these filters we're going to add to the goal to make it something much more achievable. We're going to turn it into an outcome general thing, from that into a specific action based thing. Okay, so what I've got up here, this little model here, is the DRM action goal model, and we're going to run through the different layers of it now. So let's look at the first one, which is detail. Your goal needs to be written in such detail that somebody could pick it up when they're walking down the street, finding it there on the road, read it and know exactly what to do. They wouldn't need to ask any further questions. They would have everything they need written on that goal. They wouldn't need to know you or your purpose or anything. They could go and complete their goal without needing any help. That's the level of detail you need. Why, you ask? Because these are the things that are going to get you through low motivation speed bumps. Okay? When you're down or when things are looking tough or whatever, you don't want to be in planning mode. You don't want to be in decision making mode. You don't want to be in creative mode, because those are going to be severely limited by your low motivation. So we get our creativity and our planning done when we're feeling good and when we can access that frontal lobe and shut off all the emotion for a second. Then later on we can simply follow the plan. We don't need to come up with anything new. We don't have to be creative. We don't need to be relied on to solve problems. We just follow the instructions that we've set for ourselves. And that's why it has to be childishly simple in its detail. Okay? So here's some of the details that you need to consider for your goal. Time. When are you going to do this and how long is it going to take? So this getting healthier thing, for example, I would decide that I'd want to dedicate about 2 or 3 hours per week to health and fitness. Yeah? So I'm looking at maybe 3 times a week at the gym, half an hour to an hour each. This is what I mean by time. And I want you to get even more detailed. I want day and time. Thursday, 5:30 a.m. before I go to work. Saturday, 2 p.m. after lunch. Whatever. I want you to choose the times and days that you're going to be taking action on this goal. So maybe you had a goal around building your career and you dedicate half an hour to an hour a night to do this business on the side while you work your day job. Choose the hour, 7 to 8 p.m. Choose the days, Monday, Thursday, Friday and Sunday. Make sure you've got it specific and time-based in your mind. There should be no confusion about when you're going to be doing this. Cost. Most of the good things in life require an investment. Time, money, energy. You need to figure out what that investment is. For getting the details ready for your goal, it is worth doing the research. Figure out exactly what you need to invest to make this outcome take place. So for my health one, I know that I'll need a gym membership, right? $15 a week. Or maybe I want to buy some of my own gear and I figure out how much that costs to set up my own home gym and which one's more affordable in the long term. Maybe I want a personal trainer. Maybe I want to do a sport instead of going to the gym and I need to figure out when that sport takes place and how much it's going to cost me. Figure out cost for yourself, okay? Investment. Whatever it is that you're doing, what are you going to have to invest? Collaborators. By this I mean teammates and supporters. Are you going to be doing this goal with somebody else? Now in general I recommend writing goals that nobody else can have any effect on. However, you can invite people to join you as long as them not turning up doesn't affect the goal. So if you're going for the gym, I might invite my friend to come with me to keep me more motivated, but if he doesn't come, I'm still going to the gym. He doesn't have any effect on my goal, on my actions. He just makes it more enjoyable. Program. Is there some set program of work that you're going to follow? Is there something you're going to learn and implement, a strategy, a process? For example, if I'm going to the gym, maybe I'll follow a 3-month program that I found on menshealth.com or something like that. Programs really help you to stick to a plan. So rather than trying to make it up each time, you just follow this program and you get to test it out. And I fully recommend if you're going to do this, follow a process or a strategy, do it all the way through and test the entire thing. Obviously there are people out there who have figured things out ahead of you so that you don't have to. Find those people, get their programs and put them to use. But don't do it half-assed. You need to complete the entire program. Okay? So I might do the Spartacus workout or something like that throughout 3 months. Maybe if I was doing a career-based goal, I might be following some sort of marketing program on how to build an online business. Whatever it is, find a good process that you can follow rather than having to make it up yourself. Purpose. Know why. Why are you doing this goal? What's the benefit? You should know this before you even start. This should be part of your general goal process. So we put those general goals together. They came up to an overall purpose, a benefit, a mission that you're trying to achieve. Make sure this goal is aligned with that. Don't go off track. It can be easy to go off track. Maybe I start reading about all these exercises and stuff and my gym turns into joining CrossFit, which is, I've got nothing against that. But if my overall goal was to put on massive gain and be really big, CrossFit's not the best for that and I've gone off track. I need to keep in mind my purpose here. Actions. Whatever it is in the goal, everything should be about the actions you're going to take, nobody else. It shouldn't be waiting on anybody else's outcomes. It shouldn't be requiring somebody else to contribute or something else to happen. You shouldn't have to wait for anything. It should all be based on your actions that you can take today. There's plenty of other details that you can throw in there, but the main thing is, like I said, once you've written the goal, starting with I will, following that, read it again and say, if I found this on the street, would I be able to do it? Without any help, would I be able to follow this? It's like that orienteering thing we used to do in small school, where you get these instructions and see who could follow them the best, and if you got off track, you're screwed. Write your goal so that nobody could get off track reading it. Again, you don't want to need to be creative or problem solving to do this goal, because you can't rely that that's going to be the state of mind you're in when you attempt it. Next filter we're going to run it through is kind of a yes-no with regards to being realistic. Okay? Now goals should be challenging. They should not be easy. They should put you out of your comfort zone at least a little bit. But for now, we want to make sure that you will actually do the goal. There is no point in setting yourself a goal that you absolutely cannot achieve with your current limitations. It's only going to make you less motivated. Time. So when it comes to being realistic, do you have the kind of time available that you're about to dedicate to this thing? Maybe I got excited when I was doing the details part of my goal and accidentally wrote, I'm going to go to the gym 7 days a week, despite the fact that I have other hobbies and work and all this other commitments. I'm lying to myself, and if I can't go 7 days a week, I'm going to feel like I failed at my goal. So I'm better off to set it at 3 or 4 times per week, something I can manage at times that I can be available. Courage. How far out of your comfort zone is this goal? It should be out of your comfort zone. It shouldn't be something you're already doing. Okay? It should be something new. That's leaving your comfort zone. Is anything new. New and better, particularly, but challenging. It shouldn't require a massive heroic effort of courage to be able to do it though. That's too far out of your comfort zone. That's like trying to address your fear of heights by going bungee jumping. It can be done, but usually it just makes the fear even worse. You're better off just spending some time sitting on the third rung of a ladder and just getting used to being off the ground for a while. This is what I mean by slightly leaving your comfort zone, so make sure this goal is written in a way that it requires just a little bit of courage, but the kind of courage that you can muster up on a regular basis. Skill. Do you know enough and can you do this thing? So if I'm going to the gym for the very first time and I put something like, I'm going to do an intensive CrossFit full 1 hour workout by myself, I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't even know how to do half of those exercises. I'm setting myself up to fail there. I'd need a personal trainer and things like that. And this is where, being realistic, you start to add some detail again to your goal. You start to figure out, actually, I've got to back this up a step. I'm not ready for this level of the goal yet. I've got to go back one step. That's fine. Quite often when I do this, we start with one general goal, and then as we work down, we end up with like 4 action goals, because the general goal actually branched out into all these different things that need to happen. That's totally normal, and you should be really open to that happening. It's very rare that one action will allow you to achieve a milestone or an outcome. Motivation. Again, this is about your comfort zone. Are you ready for this? Can you do it? Is there anything that needs to happen beforehand in order to build your motivation to do this? For example, you want to join a gym or you want to join a sports team. Do you need to go along with somebody first? Do you need to talk to someone who does it first? Is there something you need to do beforehand to boost your motivation? And lastly is support. If you've set up a goal that requires the support of others, which I highly recommend you do not, but sometimes it's almost unavoidable, is that support reliable? For example, is it somebody you're paying to do a job? I do have a goal that's based around the work that I do with my coach, and so therefore it's relying on somebody else's support. The action goal is me to do the homework that he sets me, so that's only me, but I need him to give me that homework. But I pay him and he's a reliable guy, so I can trust him for that support. Don't put your support and your faith based around somebody who's unreliable at all, okay? So by the end of this, you should be able to answer a question, I will blah blah blah, your goal, and you should be able to see whether or not you can achieve that. That is the realistic test. If you think, yes, it may be a challenge, but I can do that, then maybe upgrade it a little bit if it's too easy. If it's just right, if it's a little bit uncomfortable, something new, but you can do it, spot on. And here's the thing, your first time you write a goal is never the time you got it perfect. You need to test it, adjust it to your real life, and eventually it takes about 3 or 4 rewrites to get a perfect goal. This process will get a lot quicker as you get better at it. Now the last stage, and possibly the most important one, is to make the goal measurable, objectively measurable. This is where we go and find a way to measure the actions you're taking in terms of pass or fail when it comes to this goal. So, firstly, you need a measurement around completion. How will you know the goal is achieved? At what point can you tick it off? So maybe it's just something that you have to do for a set period of time. Therefore, at the end of that time, you either did it or you didn't. Other times, it's about achieving a certain outcome with regards to behavior. So, I went to the gym 4 times per week. Notice I'm not measuring myself on outcomes, I'm measuring myself on my actions. But it's still a measurement, 4 times. That is an objective measurement. If I go twice, that's not 4. I know that I've failed the goal there. Progress tracking. Now some goals are long term, some are one-off. So you might have a one-off goal like, I'll meet with a personal trainer once. As soon as you met with them, boom, that goal's achieved. Going to the gym for 3 months though, that's an ongoing tracking. So figure out what you're going to look at each week to track your progress. Frequency of times that you've been to the gym, how much weight you're lifting or how much you're pushing yourself to lift, and so on. Okay? Units of measurement. Make sure you use objective units of measurement. Okay? Nothing like how you feel or what other people say about you or anything subjective like that. It needs to be hard data. Okay? Weight, frequency, movement. distance, I don't know. Figure out units of measurement that nobody else can second guess, nobody can debate. And lastly, just to emphasize the point again, everything should be based on your actions. The entire measurement, the entire outcome of this goal should be based on whether or not you did what you're supposed to do. So I had a client, for example, whose part of their goal was to set up her own business, and she needed to figure out the legal side of that. She needed to meet with a lawyer. Now, she can't control meeting with a lawyer if the lawyer won't meet with her. So the goal that she set was around how many lawyers she approached per week, through email, phone, or whatever. This allows her to be in control of the goal entirely. Now, if they don't respond to her, that's out of her control, but that's not part of the measurement of the goal. The measurement is how many times she made an approach. So there you have it. That is the DRM model for creating action-based goals. You should do this every time you move to the next milestone, every time you need to do a little bit more to achieve an outcome. The basics are that you measure your own actions, that you get out of your comfort zone in a realistic way, and you just take small steps at a time. Make sure nobody else can affect the outcome of your goal, nobody else can interfere with it, that it's all on you. This will also lead to bigger self-confidence, because you'll learn to start to measure yourself objectively. Instead of caring what other people think or only focusing on your failures, you will learn a system of measuring yourself where you see progress over time, always increasing. This does wonders for your self-confidence, and it teaches you to stop caring what other people think. I promise you that. It's that simple. Alright guys, so that's it for action goal setting. Make sure you come back to this video each time you need to set a goal until you get the hang of it, okay? And I will see you next time. Cheers.